So come on in, take a sip, let's wind down. It's Friday. It is a remarkably beautiful day here in northern Bavaria. Today is my anniversary. Shotzi and I have been married for, 47 years, something like that. 34. I don't know. I think we were barely capable of casting a legal vote when we got married. So, but it worked out, and it's been fabulous. So I really have no complaints whatsoever. 34 years is a long time, but it's not at all a long time when you're spending that time with your soulmate. So it's really been a pretty remarkable journey. That said, and being Friday is always a tradition. I don't introduce a wine or enjoy one. I always make my favorite red drink, the Venezia cocktail. And again, as always, my best advice on these is just put a very large ice ball in your wine glass, goblet, fish tank, depending on the size, and just put a whole bunch of red stuff in it, and then fill the rest of it with Prosecco. Don't even mess around with the mineral water. It's a waste of time. This stuff is just amazing. Tastes so good. Just love it. It is the taste of Venice, and Venezia has got to be my favorite place in Italy. So, I could just live there. It's so gorgeous, and this just reminds me of it. So, and for my anniversary, Shotzi made me this one today, so I feel rather special about that. So, anyway, we've got a Friday, June 13th. Sounds like a familiar day. Oh, yeah, anniversary. We got an Evan Mulvihill. Mulvihill? I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming this is a debut, so let's see what we got. But if you get to debut on a Friday, that's pretty clever stuff. So, not that they're not all clever, they're all great, but now you're putting together, these serpentine, Herculean type grids, right, on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And so to debut there, that's pretty cool. So let's hop into this one, edited by Will Shorts, of course. Let's see what we've got. So we've got short shorts. Who wears short shorts? I know you were thinking that because we are Generation X and we remember never short shorts for smoother legs, I think was how the commercial went. And John Stamos was rubbing around on women's legs and stuff. And this was normal in 1983. And I was like 10 or 11. We didn't know any better. But you want to see something shocking? Watch the original Footloose at the very beginning of the show. Yeah, a couple has it out. Unbelievable. So, goes after. Do we have an at down here? They may be graphic. How about arts? So at least we know this might be something to at, and I don't know what just yet. Of course I don't. A shocker of sorts going with a taser. So let's see now what we've got. Blank cake. Dessert with layers of sponge, buttercream, and a ganache. And I think this is an opera cake. And I think Shotzi and I both have had them at some point in our lives before we eschewed carbohydrates altogether. Milk sources. Woo! I think we're bringing in the teats. All right. Gertrude Stein for one, and I think we can already see from the SC we're going with her. Not her as a benefactor or a patron, but her work as a prose poet. I have often said that instead of being a young officer in Operation Iraqi Freedom, if I could have been that same young lieutenant finishing up that 1-year gig, in the Argonne, I would have probably been that person that stayed behind in Paris and hung out with everyone from Hemingway to Joyce to Ezra Pound, right? Good Lord, Picasso was there. Gertrude Stein was holding it like as if she was hosting the Algonquin Round Table. Oh, I would have loved to have been part of the old Montparnasse. But that's, alas, that's not what my fate had for me. Add some fluff too as an essay. Maybe we're going to pad that sucker. Name of 11 pharaohs. That just brought a laugh out of it. I had to write a paper on the pharaohs for one of my humanities classes in undergraduate, and I remember having to go through this is before Google. Had to go through. I mean, literally making photocopies. It was like the final essay for the class, and there were like 200 some odd pharaohs. I mean, there's just been so many of them, and just went for, I don't know, 25, 26, 27 dynasties. I don't remember how many, but yeah, I think Ramses is who we're looking for, since we have an R and an A already. But just saying, and I don't remember hardly any of them, because it was just one of those assignments that I was like, I gotta write 12 pages on this plus a bib, we're excited. Ugh. Ultimately succeeds. Probably gonna be comes out. Don't know how we're going to address that though. We can check this at least. Gesture of respect or recognition, and we've got 6 letters, and got a T there, so maybe a hat. Tip. It's cut and dried. How about hay? Oh, Gesundheit, my love. Japanese businessman Torakusu with an internationally known company named after him. That's right, my very first guitar was a Yamaha. And I love their keyboards. Gave one to a cousin of mine, been trying to find a replacement ever since. Go on a run, perhaps. Okay. Apple field. I don't think we're shooting for orchards here. How about tech? So go on a run, perhaps. Maybe we're looking for a shoes. And if there was a T in front of this S at the top, that would be how we say ciao in German. When we don't say ciao. We also say ciao here. But that's kind of universal. Kind of like mall. I mean, you can say I'm going to the Einkaufszentrum. It's just the same that you could say the same thing for the French or the Spanish or whatever. But you can also say mall in any language, and they know what you're talking about. And tschüss is how we say cheers, later, bye. Becomes pendulous, say. Wow, what a good word. Sags, perhaps. Because it is a bad word, isn't it? Twill suit material. Well, good God. I'm going to go with a Sergey. But if I didn't have anything, I would have thrown linen up there. Because, why not? It's about the weave. And what is twill? Twill's a weave. It's a pattern. Not necessarily, specific material. But, I mean, I get the point. And I totally understand the purest intentions. Drat. Don't know. But I think our shorty shorts are gonna be hot pants. I gotcha. Okay, so goes after. I have no idea. I mean, is hot pants even right? This doesn't look right. Light shower. Okay, well, I've got an aperture times 6 right over there. Aperture. Has at, thank you. Minister to could be to treat. Drat could be nuts. One who might have an objection. Your Honor, I object. And then we've got a sea otter who is the aquatic eater of shellfish. And as Shotzi so artfully put it, clever, clever girl. Goes after, has at. Okay, very nice. Runs wild in gamer speak. I mean, I don't game, but I'm sure we've had this at some point. I don't remember it. Going dark on as one's love interest in modern parlance. And so maybe we're ghosting. I can't imagine that. So this looks like maybe it goes something mode. But and gamer speak, okay. Making sure that wasn't grammar speak. And I was like, well, I might know that, but no, I don't. Flotsam and jetsam would be a debris, I think. Artist who made a lot of good points. Suat? I don't know. Western Hemisphere. goes beast mode. Very good, baby. Thank you, Shotzi. That's nice. Western Hemisphere group. Maybe we're looking for the OAS here. Cocktails that might make for poor nightcaps. And I would assume we're talking about White Russians, though it is a rather tasty cocktail. It does have that espresso and the coffee liqueur in it, and that would be, yeah, probably not good for my sleep. Set of standards at a military academy as an example, maybe an honor code. Oh, okay. I got all out of whack here somehow. Like many a security guard, we have an AR, so why don't we just arm them? Sounds safe. Blank Bush, Black Lives Matter activist who served in Congress. I think we just saw Cori Bush on TV, to be honest with you. Plates as an example, maybe discs. And, you know, every time I go to spell disc, I want to put a C in there so bad. Like, I don't understand why we just didn't take that version of the spelling. So much more elegant. That K is just kind of off. Physicist Mach, after whom Mach numbers are named, and that would be Ernst, I think. I could be completely wrong on that. I'm not an expert on anything Mach. Been Mach 1 or 2 one time riding in the back of an F-18. Crazy ride that was. Practices, we got an MO and 3 blanks, so maybe we're talking about mores. Many of these begin with E. I'm assuming we're going for eye tests, but I would have probably played with a Snellen chart for a Friday grid. Make it a little bit more challenging, just saying. Extra item that a hotel guest may request, and I don't have a clue. Maybe a cot. Doesn't seem like something a typical hotel guest would request. A little kid, that makes sense. Majorly successful business startups could be unicorns. So I think we got a cot. Very good. Someone's child friendly behind me, whereas I don't typically like them. I love mine, but I was never supposed to be a child person. I don't think so. Where an airport traveler might seek assistance, but you know, they steal your heart. They just look at you in your little eyes, you know, daddy, and then the next thing you're like, oh, how much do you want? You know, it just, maybe the info desk is what the air traveler's looking for. I don't know. That's live. Got a little Frank Sinatra in here. Making a certain metallic sound could be tinny. I don't like the word either. Emmy-winning Anderson, I guess we're talking about Louis, and I think he died last year or year before, or something like that. He's a relatively young guy. I mean, I don't remember what from or what. Labor away could be to toil, but he was just a funny guy. A pretty good actor, too. Apparently got an Emmy, so. Mariner would be maybe assault. And yes, artist made a lot of good points. Surratt, glad that I was able to guess wisely. Huh? What? I mean, I have no idea. Sugar substitute. Oh, I don't know. How about hun? Or bay. What might be pinched for pennies? How about a coin purse? Let's hear it for the coin purse. Nile nasties. How about asps? Asps. Fold under could be to tuck. Big island bean variety, maybe the Kona. Scrawny sort could be a scrag. Okay, well, we're getting there. I mean, it's just, you know, a challenging Friday for sure. Copy could be to mirror. Image, informally, maybe a rep. I don't know. Totally sick could be insane. The Dolphins on scoreboards. I guess we're talking about Miami. Feature of a May-December romance. I mean, I guess we're looking for an age gap. So I guess if you're a May and December, one of you is old, one of you is still a spring chicken, May. Keeping in line with this metaphor, what if you're a July-December romance? I mean, is it literally? Is there a cutoff? I don't know. I gotta learn this. Age gap. And we got a rep here. So now we can go back up to the top and we can hope that we didn't fat finger something on the way. Walk with an attitude. Well, we can't. It's too long for swag. I mean, maybe a sachet. What do we got here? Some rise by blank and some by virtue fall. Measure for measure. And this would be sin. So yeah, I think we got a sachet if I remember how to spell it. Seems like it should have a different spelling. Like, you know, we took it from the French. It should be at least a S-A-C-H-E-T, perhaps. Each could be a pop. Okay, got the pop in. Impersonate with as. Maybe pose. Requirement for a triple play, and that would be no outs. Product whose slogans have included say hello to the future and welcome to the big screens. I think iPhone. If I had to guess, I don't remember. Yes, and 2024 Ariana Grande hit. Feelers could be antennae. So comes out ahead was our answer. We finally got to that. Ultimately, it succeeds. So very nice. Pitiful could be sad. One of Shotzi's favorite words. How sad. Just sad. Which is like her version of bless their heart. Bless their heart kind of a thing, right? And it was a messenger in biology class. Oh, of course. Not when I was in biology class. I mean, we barely knew what RNA was at the time. That's how old it seems I'm getting. Basic wine list offerings. Die Hausrote Wein, bitte. And most desirable candidates in the dating pool. Well, that just sounds so, I don't know. Tens, apparently. Relative of a stock is to shoot. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like we might have done something wrong. But how did we do, Bob? Okay, I mean, that's great. And by the way, you see our little gold star, right? You know, this is 4 Fridays in a row. That means that I haven't fat-fingered something in, like, we're talking 4 weeks now. And, well, it doesn't really mean that, because if I got a, at least one, grid is not filled in correctly. If I got that message, if it was any day but a Sunday, I would just go find it. It would take all of about 14 seconds. But if it's on Sunday, which is what this indicates when a Sunday puzzle comes around, you missed a square kind of a thing, then I'm like, okay, check off, because we're going to find it and then we'll go fix it. I am not hunting and pecking through a Sunday. But what a fantastic grid it really was. And I'm running my mouth about, Snell and charts and stuff. But the reality is that this was a really fantastic debut grid. It would be a fantastic anytime grid for even the most prolific of constructors out there. I loved Hot Pants. And in a way, I kind of appreciated the... we did a segue on our very own with the Nair commercial with John Stamos, but then all of a sudden we get the most desirable candidates in the dating pool being tens. So I get it. Sea Otter, always in the grid, but I don't really know much about them. It's really quite fascinating. And Ghost Beast Mode I'd never heard before, so really very cool. Themeless. Well, there was one word that I don't know anything about, and I've been wanting to know more about it. Maybe, I can't remember. I don't know. Antennae, house reds, no. Hat tip, shoes, no. I don't know, but there was something in here that I wanted to learn more about and that I was unaware of, and the fact that I have forgotten it already, that just says something about the fact that it's the end of the week. And I won't get any energy until it's time to go to bed. So, that's when I'll decide I need to stay up all night long. As it is, fantastic. We'll bring down our Benny de adieu. And I just wanted to say I received a message yesterday afternoon, and we were watching a movie that I didn't particularly care for at the time, The Accountant 2, and so I was kind of like, I'm going to go ahead and break the rules and answer any comments that I get for the next couple of hours, and I did. But one of them came from Chess Player, and Chess Player was like, who's Bob? And I thought, well, if I had a nickel, right? The questions, I've been gotten that question a lot since day one. I mean, our very first subscriber was my mother, and that was about a week after I started posting these. And then slowly but surely kind of built from there. But within the first month or two, someone's like, who's Bob? And I'm like, well, let me just look that up and I'll tell you who that is supposed to be. And I can find nothing on it. I don't know. Bob, I swear it's real. It was a thing. There was a game show of some sort of show where people had to guess right, or they had to perform a task of some sort. I mean, just like a typical game show, right? You know, but it was like in the 80s. And the MC, the host.
This was Bob Barker?
No, but because I don't think that Bob Barker would say, well, how did they do, Bob? They'd be like going, how'd they do, Christopher, when I'm the one with the question.
But didn't Bob have a person he talked to, like Jimmy?
Yeah, but I think that was Johnny No, that was... Ed McMahon. No, yeah, I'm talking about like this was like one of the Don Pardo. I can't remember, but it was Bob, or at least at my memory it was. But anyway, it was always, so how did we do, Bob? And then it was always like, you know, or they're ding 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 ding, you know, whatever. So how do we do, Bob? Is where I just kind of got that. But apparently, there's nothing on the internet that's easily Googleable. So, but just to answer the question in person, I wish I knew. Now, there is a movie called Sabotage with Governor Schwarzenegger, and it looks like it's a B movie, but I think you can see it on YouTube. I think it's got a rip-off title or something or other. But anyway, it's in the comments from yesterday. But if you go about 25 minutes into it, they're in a shoot house training for some police mission, military mission, and they do a pretty good job. And so when Arnold walks in and they're like, you know, so how do we do, Bob? I'm like, So there's some proof, but I don't know who that is. Until we see you tomorrow, more than likely early-ish, because we are going to be in Munich celebrating our anniversary tomorrow evening. Ich wünsche Ihnen einen schönen Tag noch. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. Servus. Grüß Gott. Ciao. Cin-Cin. Bis dann. Bis später. Bis morgen. And we'll see you on the other side. Until then, please be careful out there. Enjoy everything you can to the fullest and be nice to strangers if you can at all stomach it. Cheers.